It's the jackhammer. We're friends now. It's fine. Go way back.
What's his name?
I actually haven't named it.
An expletive, right?
You have
something we can't say.
You know what? I'm going to name it Bruce after Bruce Arena because it's just that, like big kind of grindy, like that's Bruce. Hello, Bruce.
Hey, Bruce.
Nice. The jackhammer kind of sounds like a Doug. You know, like you sit at the bar, you look down the bar.
I love that we've just named my jackhammer.
And he introduces himself and he's like, "My name's Doug."
What is up, everybody? Welcome on into the Call Up. Susanna Collins alongside my bestie, Jillian Sakovitz. What a week. What an episode. MLS is back. Finally, we have games to look forward to on Friday, April 16th with Houston against San Jose, 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN+, followed by a rematch of last year's Western Conference Final of Seattle versus Minnesota, 9:30 p.m. Eastern on FS1 and Fox Deportes. We have games to talk about, Jill.
There is light. There's light, sister. And you know what? Like, I feel like I have the perfect appetizer to this weekend. So it's opening weekend week. And I'm getting my second vaccine mid-week. And, I feel so thankful. I feel so excited. And there's a lot of people that don't have access to vaccines. So I just feel very blessed that I have the opportunity to go get this vaccine. And also makes you kind of think about all the people that, weren't able to get it soon enough. So it's just a week that's filled with a lot of emotions.
A lot of good things. And you're so right. Like, what a blessing to be able to have that
choice to go get a vaccine.
Exactly. Yes. And I got my first one last week, so I'm halfway there.
I can't wait to give you a big
halfway
hug.
There. I know. You guys, it has been awful. Every time I have met up with Jill, it's like this kind of air hug, elbow touch. So an actual hug is going to feel amazing. Speaking of amazing, our guest today is fantastic. Taylor Twellman from ESPN, the one and only. We obviously know that he's a very outspoken guy, has a lot of opinions, but I feel like we saw a different side of Taylor in this interview today. I feel like we learned some things about him. We sort of peeled back some of the layers.
Well,
it was really fun. Really
not to toot our own horn, but leave it to the call-up crew over here.
It's kind of what we do.
Just saying.
It's kind of what we do. Okay, Jill, today we are not doing a Here for This, but there's a very good reason. A very good reason for this. So you and I have been engaged, and I don't want to call it a Twitter war, but
no, we don't engage in warfare.
No, it's not warfare. It's some friendly sort of poking
fire,
and
friendly fire.
Exactly. We are the fashion police of MLS, correct? Like this is who we are.
No question.
Okay. 100%. And then suddenly we noticed a few weeks ago there were some folks, Max Brados, Heath Pierce, Jason Davis, who were like, "Hey, let's talk about the best dressed coaches in MLS." And Jill and I are like, hi. We did this already. This has been done, and we've already given out our awards. So thank you for playing. Cute, but nice try. So we decided that it had, the leading up to the opening weekend, we've seen a lot of season previews, predictions, which I know we're not,
which we will get to, sure.
But power rankings are a thing. People love the power rankings, Jill. So this was an opportunity for us to rank our power rankings for best dressed MLS coaches. So we picked our top 10 and we ranked them in order. And so this is our Here for This today.
Here for that.
And I'm exactly. Thank you.
All right. Here you go, Susanna Collins. You didn't ask, but I'm going to give you mine first.
Let's go.
This is more of a call to action. I have at number 10, Brian Schmetzer, because I think he's got a little bit more than we always see.
Okay.
I think he could throw a flannel shirt in here or there. Always rocking the Sounders athleisure wear, but Brian Schmetzer. And then right below him at number 9, I've got Caleb Porter, because he's always been very consistent, but I'd like to see him mix it up a little bit more. And then next, Robin Fraser.
Like this, okay.
He's a little bit of a dark horse. I don't think he gets enough love. The Colorado Rapids get overlooked often. But when I was looking through his looks, he mixes it up. It's fitted. It looks good. Sometimes it's a sweater. Sometimes it's a suit. Let's keep our eyes on Robin Fraser this year. Matias Almeida. The guy has worn a 3-piece suit. That's all I'm going to say. At number 6, Gabriel Heinze. Because so far we've only seen him in Atlanta United sweats. But I'm excited for that South American flair. And we know that Tata Martino could do no wrong. And I think Gabriel being like a young aspiring coach, he's going to kick it up a notch.
Bring it. Okay.
And then his counterpart down south, Phil Neville. I mean, the guy's got David Beckham in his phone. Phil Neville, he might not be there yet, but in 2021, I think he's going to get there.
Okay.
He's the guy's living in South Beach.
So good. I love this list.
He's living in South Beach. Then at number 4, Chicago's Raphael Wicki. We haven't seen a lot from him, but he wears nice glasses. He's got that European flair, and I think he's going to surprise us. Yep. And then my top 3 are kind of like tried and true. Number 3, Greg Vanney. I mean, the Scarf Master is moving to LA. It can only get better from here. Yep. And at number 2, I do have our reigning champion moving down a notch, Luchi Gonzalez. And that's not because, Dallas, you didn't send me a poster. I swear to God, that's not better. I'm happy Susanna Collins got the signed autographed poster. Because
this little thing?
Because us asserting ourselves in this space in Major League Soccer would not have ever been possible, Susanna Collins, without you. But at number 1, I have the Philadelphia Union's Jim Curtin, because I don't know what seamstress he goes to, but his suits are always tailored to look really, really good. Yeah. And I think with the success that they had last year, he knows some more eyes are on him. And I'm excited to see the very dapper Jim Curtin in 2021. So I'm calling Jim Curtin at the end of the season.
Oh man. How do I follow that up? Okay. So I'll go from 10th to 1st. Whew, number 10. Matias Almeida. I have him at number 10. Now, we all know that I'm a big fan of the hair, which I took that into account with a lot of these, just sort of the overall look. Yeah, okay. He shaved it last year, but it looks like he's growing it out again. So I'm on board for that. Love the 3-piece suit, but I need to see more. I need to see more. So he's on the list, but let's mix it up a little. I feel like he is capable of so much more. At number 9, Caleb Porter. We were simpatico on that one. Same kind of thing. Caleb always looks sharp, and you feel like his wife is probably in his ear, like helping pick some stuff out. But a little more variety is always welcome. Mm-hmm. Number 8, Hernan Losada of DC United. Now, we have not seen much of him, but what I have seen, I am very, very impressed. I feel like he is going to be one to watch this year. So I have inserted him in the 8th spot because everything is just very tight, very well tailored. It's a good look. Number 7. What you did there. Thank you. Number 7, Robin Fraser. A guy who is completely underrated. I 100% agree. I'm glad
he can move up. He has room to move up this year.
100% room to move up because he looks super sharp. And you know what he does? He rocks a sweater vest a lot with the tie, and I'm digging
very cozy.
Dig that look. Number 6, Chicago Fire's Raphael Wicki. Again, I took the hair into account here because the guy has a tremendous head of hair. It has to be said. And then the glasses, so it all just kind of works, it all kind of complements. But he has definitely shown some flashes of really impeccable style. Number 5, Peter Vermees. Now, you might be thinking, what is Peter Vermees doing on this list? But I am telling you that Peter Vermees is Mr. Consistent. And in the same way that, a guy like Caleb Porter, they're always just very well tailored. Peter Vermees rocks a suit very, very well. I think he is supremely underrated. Number 4, Greg Vanney. I have Greg Vanney at 4, and I'm thinking, should I have put him higher? But, the scarf obviously is iconic. It will get you so far. I have liked what I've seen of LA version of Greg Vanney so far, but I'm curious to see, are we going to see some rolled up sleeves? What does that look
How does it transition to warmer weather is a key question really coming into the season.
So he's at number 4. Number 3, Gio Savarese. I think I was heavily influenced by Merritt Paulson making a case for
him. Dear Ed. I left him off my list. So unacceptable.
But I love Gio. And I do think that he does have great fashion sense. We're very thrilled that he shaved the beard because that was not our favorite. We did not make that a secret. But Gio Savarese, overall, very, very well-dressed man. Number 2, your number 1, Jim Curtin. Jim Curtin. And the thing is, we talked about his suits. Something that he does not get enough credit for is his shoes. The guy always wears incredible shoes and sneakers. Like his kicks collection, I would love to see this guy's closet. Like his shoe collection is phenomenal. So that's something to keep an eye on.
Quick question. I just want to put this on our radar so we remember it before you get to your big number 1. I'd love to know, and I used to think about this with Caleb Porter because I was in Portland so much where it rained. Are the shoes being worn once?
Yeah, I don't know. Or
because they always look good.
You know, you can buy
but they're like leather sometimes.
I know.
Just wondering. Okay.
That's a very good question. And I think that we need to put that in our arsenal of questions to ask another coach when we get them on, because these are the things that matter and are very important. So thank you to us anyway.
Thank you to us.
And to nobody's shock, at number 1, taking our top spot in the power rankings. Lucci Gang for life. Lucci Gonzalez. He won our Golden Hanger Award last year. I'm keeping him up there. I cannot wait to see what he brings. P.S. Okay. So the story behind this is a massive life-size poster of Lucci for those of you that are
3 to 4 feet tall.
Literally. FC Dallas sent this to me, but it is addressed to the call-up. So it is a signed poster of Lucci in a very fashionable outfit. He's got a polka dot, a very tiny polka dot print polo shirt on, really nice fitting pants, crisp white sneakers. The whole look is just.
Can I ask you a question?
Fire.
Did you
Yes.
tip anyone off that we were doing these coaching power rankings this week?
Because
very suspect timing, but also an applause to FC Dallas. They hit you with that poster at the right time.
Ina Miller, you are
she's a queen.
A rock star. Marlena,
yeah, she is.
Thank you. Calderon, you are a rock star.
Also a queen.
So it says in a Sharpie, it says, to the call up with love and laughs, Lucci. And so Jill, this is for us.
Yes, it is. We're a team. We're a team.
If we lived closer, I would literally drive this up and we could share it.
You know what
Lucci,
though?
Something
for you is something for me, and vice versa. We're a team.
Custody of Lucci. We could you get him,
I love you so much that I am happy that you have custody of Lucci.
You're a good friend. You're a really good friend.
So are you.
I share this with you. And Lucci, Dallas, you guys are the best. This is incredible. I will get this framed, by the way, and it's going to, it will be my background. Lucci is going to just straight up be my background, and I'm not mad. So those are our power rankings. Jill, I think you know what we need to do though, because this has caused some really great banter on social media. We need to tweet these out and then get those guys that were kind of trying to lay claim to being.
We gave them a layup, girl. We're here's the top 10. Here's the criteria.
Give us your top 10. And you guys, if you're listening, if you're watching, tweet at us. Let us know, weigh in on who you think your top 10 best.
And you can be a hardcore MLS X's and O's fan. And you can care about this topic. You can do both. It's okay. Time now for our AT&T 5G call to the field. Former MLS MVP, Golden Boot winner, 30 caps for the U.S. men's national team, and ESPN broadcast extraordinaire, and the best background we have ever had on the call-up, Taylor Twellman.
Wow, you really just came prepared for this, Taylor. We appreciate the effort, man.
Absolutely. I didn't wear any pants for this though, so that's why we are staying here. It's the pleasure of the pandemic of 2020. I can kind of get away with anything.
100%.
That's kind of in the culture of the call-ups. We really appreciate
Absolutely.
that. Yeah. All right. Before we get to the good stuff, we were just discussing our best dressed coach in Major League Soccer, Taylor Twellman. Who is yours?
Well, who are your? Give me yours first, so I, it could be different.
Do you want to see who ours is?
Yeah.
So Susanna is getting bought by FC Dallas. I'm just throwing that out there. They're sending her stuff.
They sent me a life-size Lucci autographed poster.
Not trying to buy your vote at all.
He is basically our call-up we stand Lucci as best dressed
because he's different.
Because he's
a lot of variety.
It's mindful. It's mindful dressing. That guy thinks about his outfits before he puts them on, and I
more than he wants to admit. Mine's Jim Curtin because don't laugh.
No, it's a good choice. He's sharp.
It's sharp. For me, it is like you wouldn't expect it out of Philly, but it's the fact that he puts a lot of effort into very well trimmed suits.
Yes.
I think the best part of that statement was you wouldn't expect it out of Philly.
I'm from New York.
Lucci's a surprise to me, but I like variety. I think variety is extremely important when it comes to fashion, which is why I've worn a V-neck sweater for the last 15 years. I think I'm going to go with Peter Vermees.
Oh, yes. Sneaky pick, but I like it.
Yeah.
He's classic.
Not Brian Schmetzer?
I like Schmetz. I love Schmetz and everything.
Bruce Arena?
Yeah, but Bruce, Tata Martino, which was the best one ever. And yet, you know what's weird and understated? Bob Bradley's understated with his stuff.
Listen, I have a theory though, Taylor. I am convinced that guy has a stylist. The LAFC hooked him up because that came out of nowhere. All of a sudden he was showing up on the sidelines with like these really fitted jackets. And I was like, hold on, something's going on. So I agree. He looks great. He has some style, but I think it's manufactured. I think
I would also not downplay the lovely women in his life. They have probably a massive say in that. And those 3 women that are in his life,
they got to sign off.
I would say right now that they probably have good taste. So, but Bob Bradley's understated. He doesn't get enough credit, but I will say since his time at LAFC, he's surprised a lot of us with that.
I love it. Taylor, you have rocked. I know you stick to the V-necks traditionally, but we've seen you in that turtleneck. We've seen you rocking the turtleneck and blazer look, which like Jill and I were talking about it. Not a lot of people can pull it off.
Difficult.
Though?
No, I 100% think you pulled it off. I have seen it not pulled off well. I'm not going to throw people under the bus, but I've seen
you got to commit, like you're with it and you're just committing to it.
But who do you think of our MLS coaching pool, who could best rock that look?
That's a really good one.
Yeah.
That's a really good one.
Oh gosh, is this where we're going?
This is hard hitting.
I honestly, I think from the top of my head, first response, Giovanni Savarese.
Yes. Cool.
Yeah, because I think when he's full beard, it's in Portland. I think it would stand out in Portland because everyone in Portland would make fun of him and go like, "What are you wearing?" Which is why I think Gio could pull it off.
I like that a lot. I love that answer.
We really hate predictions. We talked about this on our last show. It just makes people troll us on social media. And you know what? Maybe it's because it's, just after the year and a half we've had, I'm a little too fragile emotionally, I think, to deal with predictions. So Taylor Twellman, on the note that we hate predictions, we're going to ask you some predictions anyways.
Because I hate them more than you guys, so even better.
Taylor, with all of this vast information that we have looking into 2021, can you paint the picture for us in the East and the West?
No, I can't. And that's why I think Major League Soccer is you heard Ernst Tanner say this recently, that he likes this because there's not one team that dominates. You go into a season in many leagues around the world. He likes the competitive balance. And I think that's part of it. Now, naturally, you're going to look at Seattle, Portland, LAFC. When you look at the West, the East, you naturally look at, Philadelphia Union, Toronto. And then you go up and down the line saying, well, no, Columbus, right? And everyone still doesn't want to say Columbus, and yet they won MLS Cup. So I think it's more unpredictable, yet you're now starting to see some separation when you go into these seasons of teams that are doing their due diligence, properly recruiting players from overseas, and then, bringing in their academies and roster building. You're going to see now, once expansion stops, a little separation, but quite honestly, you go in every year saying something unexpected is going to happen, because at the beginning of 2020, many of us like Columbus Crew, but did we all predict them to win MLS Cup? No.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That is so true. I love this. So the moral of the story is we know nothing, which is what I've been saying all along.
Fake it until you make it, ladies.
Exactly. Okay. Who has the better season, Josef Martinez or Carlos Vela?
I think Carlos Vela does. And it depends on how you judge this and how you look at it. But I feel like Carlos Vela healthy. I think LAFC have a chip on their shoulder with how 2020 just went about in the entire way. CONCACAF Champions League ended on a disappointment. I just look at that and I say, you know what? I think LAFC could have a year. Now, Josef Martinez could score 20 goals, and yet all of us could look at it and say, well, Carlos Vela had a better year. He may score more goals, but I think a lot goes into that question. I think Carlos Vela.
Okay.
I respectfully disagree. Does Chicharito?
Now, you should.
I darn should. Does Chicharito turn it all around for himself and for the Galaxy?
Define turn it around, because by definition, if you score 3 goals, that's more goals than he had last year.
Is he who we thought he was when he first arrived this year?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good way to put that, right? And that is 15 plus goals, and LA Galaxy are in the playoffs. I'm going to say yes. I'll say yes.
Okay. Taylor, which coach are you going to be watching the closest? Like, kind of who has a lot of pressure on them right now as a coach?
Everyone's sexy pick or unsexy pick, as you would say, is the Phil Neville in Miami. And yet for me, I think it's Chris Armas in Toronto. I just think when you look at what Chris Armas did with the Red Bulls, and many of us, myself being at the forefront, saying if the Red Bulls had given him more, and if the Red Bulls had given him a checkbook and gone out and signed players, what would that have looked like? Now he's got it. Now he's absolutely got it. So I would say Chris Armas has my attention more than Phil Neville does in Miami.
I just want a Phil Neville, David Beckham night in Miami picture to surface, in the coming months.
Well, I have a feeling
whether they're eating steak or they're going out, I just want to see them hanging out.
It's coming. It's coming.
Not that I have found. I've had my eyes open for that. What club is under the most pressure?
I think Atlanta. Just because I think Gabriel Heinze is the guy that they thought they wanted to get before Frank de Boer came in. That was the right pick probably because of Tata Martino and the way he left. I think they've got a ton of pressure on them. Ezekiel Barco hasn't turned out to the player that he is. What we've seen in the opening game of CONCACAF Champions League, my man looks like a completely different player. You bring Josef Martinez back in, Sosa, you bring in all these younger players. But Gabriel Heinze and whatnot, I would say the most pressure is on Atlanta United because you've got to win back that fan base because that fan base is spoiled rotten for what they got in the first 3 years. They had a down year. I think they've got a real pressure on them.
Did you just use the S word? Oh, gosh. Just wait. The Twitter storm is coming.
I love it. This is what we're here for. All right, Taylor, will the Columbus Crew repeat as MLS Cup champions? This is very hard to do, as we know. No. And I just think because it's very difficult to do with the way the league is now and the way new money's coming in. Kevin Molino's already injured. And I know we're not losing the season at the beginning of it, but Molino could be out up to 8 weeks with a hamstring injury. If he's not healthy and firing on all cylinders, that's a different team with him than without him. Caleb Porter's going to have something to say. I think Columbus is going to be good, but repeating is very difficult. And they've got something they've never really had to deal with, and that's CONCACAF Champions League. And so if they have a lot of success in that and go further on, we've seen what that does to teams early on in the year. I just don't see it happening.
Taylor Twellman, thank you for painting our 2021 picture for us. We so appreciate that. But you know what? We want to talk a little bit about you now.
We do.
We all know you as New England Revolution, MLS legend. But before Major League Soccer, you were a 20-year-old kid in Germany's third division at 1860 Munich. What was that experience like?
Oh. We want stories.
You want good stories.
Ones out of Germany too. Yeah, we do.
Yeah, great stories, especially when this is pre-September 11th. So it was different. So we were in the Bundesliga. 1860 was the bitter rival to Bayern Munich. I was on the reserve team that was playing in the third division. And my first road trip, I've told this story recently, but I don't think it made many airwaves. So let's try this again. So they give you your first roommate and you're on the road and, you take a bus, whatever, 4 hours to the game, spend the night before the game and the game's the next day. And his name was Guido Gorges. And that night, he smoked 2 packs of cigarettes and had 7 beers.
Yes. Can we get him on?
The next day, he was man of the match.
I've been doing it all wrong.
So I call home, and by the way, when I call home, I had to use a calling card at 10 cents a minute internationally. That's to date myself. And I call home, and my dad's like, "So how was the experience?" I played maybe 8-9 minutes off the bench, whatever it was. And I go, "Pops, I think I got to start smoking." And he's like, "Wait, what are you talking about?" I'm like, and I tell him the story, and he's like, "Wait, what?" I'm like, "He's the center back. He first off, doesn't speak a lick of English, grew up in Dresden, East Germany, and I sat in the room with him for 15 hours, slept for whatever, 8 of it, and he smoked 2 packs of cigarettes in the room with the windows open this much." I woke up like I had an absolute bender. I'm 19 at the time, and I'm like, what the hell is this? The next part of this story is Germany, when you have the afternoon games, you would have tea and cake before the game. You two know this off air, but I'll tell people on air, I can't say no to pretty much anything. So I had like 3 pieces of cake, a little tea. I'm warming up as if I've got the 4 o'clock crash. I'm like, what is this? Like my first experience of anything was insane. Now here's the best story off. So I'm learning German, trying to learn German, trying to be the best that I can, and telling anyone and everyone within the team that I'm trying to acclimate myself to the culture and whatnot. So about 6 months in, I decide we're out, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go talk to that girl. So the German language, you better clear out your throat and blow your nose, because you will hawk about 5 to 7 loogies if you want to properly speak it. So I'm walking over there and I'm getting ready to speak. And no joke, I'm sitting there going, what am I doing?
So you had that experience of being like the young American abroad. And that's something that we're seeing quite a bit now, which is exciting. And young Americans having success overseas in Europe. Daryl Dike being one that has just been, he's just been so much fun to watch, doing his thing with Barnsley, scoring goals left and right. And then Commissioner Don Garber yesterday on a call, basically pointed to Daryl Dike saying like, this is a success for the league. Like this is a player, like this is something that we need to like model. We need more stories like this. What does the Daryl Dike story tell you about the state of MLS and where we're at right now, especially in terms of like developing players?
Yeah, I don't think people fully understand that Daryl Dike would not be at Barnsley if there wasn't Major League Soccer. Now, I'm not saying that his time in Oklahoma, his time at University of Virginia isn't important. It was equally as important. But he's not from an academy. He's from a place in this country that very few people know. Now, I lived in Tulsa because my father played for the Tulsa Roughnecks in the NASL days. But this says to everyone, and I said this on the record, and I took a lot of heat for this, but I said this 3 years ago. Anyone that you talk to in and around Europe, the big scouts, the clubs that are looking, they all said 3 years ago there would be 30 to 50 Christian Pulisics in 5 years in Europe. That doesn't mean Christian Pulisic of that type of player, but players that you can find, develop. Now, I'm not saying Barnsley's developed Daryl Dike. That's not what I'm saying. But this tells you and reminds everyone and actually motivates everyone in this country. The players are here. There's no denying that. There's been plenty of Daryl Dikes before Daryl Dike, but Major League Soccer wasn't at this point of thriving and giving that opportunity is the word I'm looking for, to showcase that player. How do they find Daryl Dike if there's no Orlando City? And the answer is, listen, and that's the difficult part to assess this. Now, Major League Soccer has to do their due diligence and have to do a very good job of finding the Daryl Dikes that are not in MLS academies, that are in parts of this country that there is no MLS franchise that is there. But that's what this is about. But this is a motivating factor to everyone in this country. The players are here. You need to find them. You need to develop them. And most importantly, if they're good enough, sell them. Let them go. Because now when Daryl Dike is sold and he's in Europe, Orlando City's always part of that conversation. And that is a very difficult part to quantify, but it's an extremely valuable part that Brazil, Argentina, all those South American clubs have been using for the last 30 to 50 years. It's now time Major League Soccer plays a part in it. And I think they're doing a good job of starting that process.
All right, a small victory last week. Taylor, you've been an advocate for a very long time for concussion awareness. MLS is going to participate in FIFA's concussion substitute pilot program this season. It allows up to 2 substitutions per team during a match to replace players suffering from a concussion or a suspected concussion, regardless of the number of subs that they've already used. Is this the answer to handling concussion protocol?
No.
Why?
But this is the beginning of the process. And this is a process like the injury. It's not a black and white injury. All 3 of us can have a concussion. All 3 of us can have different symptoms. All 3 of us can present them in different ways. All 3 of us can recover in different ways. And yet you've got to start the process. And so this is the answer to starting the process. But when we talk and do this podcast 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, it's going to be a different process. It's going to be a different answer because we're going to have more data that understands what we need to do, how we need to assess it. You know, a temporary sub, in my opinion, is extremely valuable because when I talk to every technical staff and every coach, just to get my knowledge of the situation around the world, that's always brought up. And so temporary sub is not part of IFAB and FIFA's protocol now. Do I think it will be? Yeah, I do. But this is the start of the process that we need to get to, and it started, and I'm glad we did it. You guys know me very well. I've said this for the last 5 years. I think U.S. Soccer could have started this conversation, but I understand why they wanted IFAB and why they wanted FIFA to join them and do it in partnership with them. But we've got Premier League clubs and doctors reaching out to me and others about this. I didn't think that would happen 2 years ago, let alone 18 months ago. And here we are. So this is a massive step in the right direction. But is this the final answer? It won't be because the injury evolves and so does the protocol as it follows.
Love it. You do incredible work in promoting this concussion awareness. And again, like Jill and I are so on board. It's so very, very important and it matters to these players. We've had many discussions about it. So well done to you, Taylor Twellman. Sorry, that's the construction below my apartment.
I actually thought that was my brain after we just talked concussions. I was like, oh.
Literally, like, this is
have no fear. That's
my
just
work from home.
Jackhammer.
It's the jackhammer. We're friends now. It's fine. Go way back.
What's his name?
I actually haven't named it.
An expletive, right?
You have
something we can't say.
You know what? I'm going to name it Bruce after Bruce Arena because it's just that, like big kind of grindy, like that's Bruce. Hello, Bruce.
Hey, Bruce.
Nice. The jackhammer kind of sounds like a Doug. You know, like you sit at the bar, you look down the bar.
I love that we have just named my jackhammer.
And he introduces himself and he's like, "My name's Doug," and you're like,
"It's so good." Taylor, when you're not doing your thing on ESPN, when you're not advocating for concussion awareness, it seems like you do an awful lot of golfing.
Yes, I do.
We watched the Masters over the weekend. You were tweeting about it. Awesome to see Hideki Matsuyama win. Yep. That was really, really exciting, especially at the end. But okay, so we know you love golf. Mm-hmm. What else do you do? Because it feels like it's literally like we see you on ESPN, we see you golfing, but like there has to be more, Taylor. We want to like.
I really appreciate how you've made me very what's the word? One-dimensional?
Yeah, look, this is the point. We're trying to peel back these layers. We want to know more. Who is Taylor Twellman?
I don't know that. I honestly ask myself that every day looking in the mirror. That is a very good question. I don't know that answer. You know, I became a girl dad 3.5 years ago, and I now have 2 girls. And that's taken up a lot of my energy is the wrong word. Just, I guess, attention, because I think this is going to sound awful, but I feel blessed that I got the pandemic. The time with my kids. I travel 200 plus days a year. Yeah. And so I'm not saying the pandemic was great. And if we could redo it, you know what I'm trying to say. But
of course.
The glass half full for me, I got to spend the first 14 months of my daughter's life with her at home, way more than I would have. So that's a lot. But quite honestly, Susanna, pool,
Okay.
ESPN, golf, GirlDad. There's not much else.
I think that's fun. Honestly, that's more than I knew before. So like
I don't know if that
we're getting
really
there.
gets your attention because
Oh,
Jillian just fell asleep.
No,
I
what?
love
I was
girl
unmuting
dads.
my microphone.
Listen, girl dads, I'm so here for golf, here for pool. And I agree. I think it's important to, it's like you said, like no one would have wanted this pandemic, but there has to be silver linings. You know, there has
and
to
it's
be.
it took me 13 months to realize that. I get
Yes.
it. But yeah, like when I reflect on it 10 years from now, I'll be like, you know what? That was actually
a really
I'm grateful
unique
for it.
time. Exactly.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
100%.
We love a girl dad conversation here on
Sure do.
the call up, you know, because there's been a lot going on with the Me Too movement, this and that. And heads up, I mean, I am old and my dad still gets my oil changed for me and he doesn't even live nearby. So like you are signed up for life. Like girls are, but you know what? We'll take care of you when you're old too. Sons.
Yeah, that's true. Exactly.
Well, that starts now.
They
actually.
need
So
less,
that's kinda...
but they need less, but they do less.
You know, there's one thing my daughters will have. I promise you that. They will know how to play golf. They will know golf etiquette. They will know exactly what to do. They will be the best part of a group. My mom did it. My sister did it. I'm so thankful for that. And the first thing I said when these two girls were born, I was like, yeah, they're going to play golf. And everybody's looking at me going, dude, relax. I'm like, no, think about it. Their entire lives, they can play golf. I could care less if they play soccer. I don't care about anything. But so my 3.5-year-old daughter already, she's going to the golf course with me. She's got her own clubs. She loves it. I mean, mainly because she gets to chew on bubble gum. She gets to drive the cart and she likes putting, but it is what it is. But anyways, that's the only thing I vowed myself to do for them is to give them something like that they can have the rest of their lives.
And
whether
that will
it's with
help
their
them,
boyfriends, girlfriends, whatever it may be.
that will help them socially, professionally. The
100%.
one thing I took away from the pandemic, having no job and no income for a few months there, was going out on a public course and just learning how to golf. Because I'm like, well, I got the time, and it's socially,
and you can go outside.
And I can social distance. Exactly.
Yep.
And can I just say, too,
ahead.
I literally had this conversation with my father because we were talking this weekend watching the Masters. And I was like, why didn't you like really drive home me golfing? Because I'm looking at this.
Because they're trying to get away from us when they're golfing.
And I'm like, what a life. You know, like even if you're like not the best in the world, like you get to live in like a sunny place, you get to travel to all these, like if you make the tour, what a life that is.
Oh,
and
but Susanna and Jillian, I love being outside.
I know,
exactly. And when I play golf, I don't have a cell phone.
Oh,
it's my one rule. Cell phone is turned off. Nothing. So 4 hours gone. It's in my bag, and I'm enjoying that. And so there's something freeing for me. The other aspect of golf for me, just since we talked about it, it's the only thing I can do because I haven't worked out in over 10 years. That, you know, the way I used to, I can walk, I can do that kind of stuff. And so I walk every time I play golf, carry my bag or a push cart. It's a good workout, but I get away. There's a lot of mental health aspects for me. And now that my daughters are coming, it makes it even more fun.
All right. On that note, game time. Taylor Twellman, before we let you go, we want to know the first word that comes to mind about some of the following topics. So first word, Taylor Twellman, that comes to mind, MLS 26 years in.
Surprise.
Like that.
Surprise. I think when I came into this league in 2002, with two teams that are folding in the way this league was going, I don't think Major League Soccer gets enough credit for not only surviving, but thriving to the point that we are now talking about Cincinnati, Nashville, new stadium in Columbus for their second time, Austin. I didn't see it. And so surprise 100% is my word.
Love that. All right, Taylor, first place you're going on vacation.
Cabo.
Woo woo. Us too.
Yeah,
we were just talking about that.
We were literally just talking about that.
Taylor Twellman, first word that comes to mind when you think of CCL.
Finally.
That's good. I like that.
Finally. It's coming.
It's coming. It's coming. This could be the year. This could be the year, baby.
How many times have we said that?
Oh God, I know. Jesus, right? Best stadium in the league.
Oh, wow. That's a really good one. Man, that's a real good one. Right now, top of my head, Bank of California Stadium.
Okay.
But I'm going to give you guys a second answer that's going to surprise the hell out of everybody. Red Bull Arena.
You soccer guys,
Underrated.
like I've heard Alexi say it. I think because it is so soccer specific and like true to form. Like,
I mean, quite honestly, Red Bull Arena would be my answer over Bank of California Stadium. But the problem is the ambiance isn't there for every game.
I know.
Yep.
But I'm telling you, I was there for U.S. Costa Rica. I was there for the All-Star games. I was there for the Red Bull games that sold out. And all 3 times I leave there going, oh, boy. Because Minnesota's got it. It's almost there. It's just not as many people as Red Bull Arena, but Minnesota's got something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I blindfolded you and put you in the middle of the field, you would take the blindfold off and go, where are we? Middle of Germany? No, you're in St. Paul, Minnesota.
Your counterpart, John Champion.
Mm-hmm.
First word comes to mind.
English. I hope he sees this. I hope he sees this so bad.
English. Amazing.
No, honestly, proper is the word that came to my mind. English was the joke. Proper is the word I would use.
Proper. He does seem very proper.
Oh, and next to me, it just makes it just seem worse.
That's why it works. That's why it works.
A proper Englishman and Stifler. It's like, oh.
Stifler.
Stop.
Stifler reference. This made my day. Amazing. Okay. Oh, I love this one. Taylor, when someone says the MLS.
Don't care.
Okay.
Irrelevant for me.
On that note,
the word.
Taylor Twellman, thank you so much for joining us here on the call up. That was so much fun. Come back soon, please, and all the best this season as you get back to a full MLS season. They're going to come at us quick and fast.
Quick and fast.
Quick and fast, sister.
Susanna, say hi to Doug, the jackhammer.
I will. I'll give Doug your regards. Appreciate it.
A big thanks to Taylor Twellman. That was so fun. You can catch him alongside John Champion calling all of ESPN's MLS games this year. You can also catch him on Sports Nation. So a big thanks to him. And as we mentioned, MLS is back, baby.
Yes, it is.
Wait, I forgot that I wanted to mention this. I didn't want to waste Taylor's time, but I can totally relate to Europe and cakes. Because I went on a journey like 10 years ago to find my Hungarian relatives. And we spent one day in this town that my grandpa was from, that he escaped from the communists and made his way to Canada and then to the US so that I could have a better life. And anyway, these people, word got out that the Sakovitzes were in town and everyone wanted to have us over. And I went into 12 houses where I don't speak Hungarian and they also speak Croatian and I don't speak that either. But I did eat 12 cakes and had they give you a shot. I also had 12 shots and I was really sugar high and really drunk and really feeling like I maybe needed to throw up, but also so thankful for these people I had met that it was a jarring experience.
I'm not gonna lie.
I can relate.
The cake and shots, like that sounds kind of fun. It sounds kind of amazing.
I mean, anything these days sounds fun, but I could relate to his point. I didn't think it'd make me a better soccer player, though. I'll be very honest.
Like, if I had to play a soccer match after that, not so much. But like, if I was just kicking it and like I didn't have anything to do, like cake and shots, heck yeah. Like,
cake and shots, sister. Okay, on that note, cake and shots. Have some cake and shots for MLS is back. The 2021 MLS season kicks off this weekend. It's finally here. Nationally televised games include April 17th, Atlanta taking on Orlando, 3 o'clock Eastern time on Unimas and 2DNA. LAFC taking on Austin FC at 6 o'clock Eastern on Fox and Fox Deportes. And then on the 18th on Sunday, Miami taking on the LA Galaxy. God, that is so shady. David Beckham's Miami taking on David Beckham's former team, the LA Galaxy, at 3 o'clock on ABC. For the full weekend lineup, head over to MLSsoccer.com.
I see what they did there. I see what the scheduling committee did there. No, can't wait for that. Also, had Taylor Twellman talk about it. CCL baby, more CCL action. And I have admittedly not had CCL fever, but
Always time.
MLS teams are doing pretty darn well so far. So we've got CCL action continuing tonight, leg 2 of the round of 16. Atlanta against Alajuelense.
It sounds like you've been to Costa Rica before. I'll just leave it at
trying. It's one of these where it's like I really want to pronounce it well. But that game is at 6 p.m. Eastern tonight. Followed
big
up by
chance
Portland.
for Atlanta United tonight. Big chance.
Huge. It's huge for them. Also, Portland taking on Marathon at 8 p.m. Eastern. Toronto and Philly face their opponents for leg 2 tomorrow night. And Columbus takes on Real Esteli on Thursday. You can tune into FS1 and 2DNA for all of those matches. CCL, baby. Also, I'm going to take this moment to promote a new show. We have a new show on our MLS channels that is going to be hosted by myself and Stephen Keel, who is one of my favorite humans in the world. It is called Group Chat. This is going to be Fridays at 1 p.m. on all MLS channels, and we're going to have our big premiere on MLS's YouTube.
I am
Friday,
so looking forward to that.
It's a lot of fun. So the whole concept is basically like, it's called Group Chat. So, especially like in quarantine, like I have had like 10 different group chats with like various groups of friends. Sometimes there's some overlap there.
Sure.
But the whole concept is like, we want it to be really interactive. Like we want people to,
group chat,
engage with us. And so that's kind of the concept, but we're sort of previewing the weekend coming up. But then also just like fun stuff. So it's going to be really cool. Check it out. 1 p.m. Friday. Yay.
And guys, tweet at us, always on the call up, engage with us, talk to us. We pretty much always respond unless you say something really mean.
Give us your power rankings, coaches' power rankings.
But please rate, subscribe, and download the call up.